Thank you. Be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Paradise, Senior Associate Dean at the College of Business. It's my distinct pleasure to extend a warm welcome to you for joining us for the Master's Hooding Ceremony. I'm truly delighted that all of you could join us for this distinctive ceremony where family and friends are given the opportunity to witness the hooding of our graduates in a more intimate setting than the Civic Center. This ceremony includes our online students as well as our on-campus students. We currently have online students taking classes while living in other cities, in Florida and in other cities and other states such as Ohio, Michigan, California, and New York, just to name a few. In the past, we have had active military students enrolled in online classes while deployed overseas, with some of them persevering through classes even while deployed in war zones. For our online students, this is a special time. We're meeting many of you, and you are meeting each other for the first time face-to-face. As online students, you never have to set foot on campus, so we're honored that you made the journey to join us here today. There are a number of people on stage who will be introduced later in the ceremony, but we have one person seated here who certainly should be recognized. Dean Karen Beck Dudley has led the College of Business since 2006, focusing on making the college a preeminent college of business known not only across the Southeast, but also nationally and internationally. Would Dean Beck Dudley please stand and be recognized for her leadership and service? We are here to celebrate the accomplishments of the fall class of 2013. Taking time to recognize the accomplishments of our graduates is very important. The first Master's Hooding ceremony was initiated by the MBA class of 2006. Since then, it has grown to include all of our master's degrees programs. One of the hallmarks of this ceremony is to invite a successful friend of the college to help us mark this occasion by providing some thoughtful insights. Today's keynote speaker carries on that tradition. Brian Cohen is a proud graduate of Florida State University, having received his MBA with a concentration in finance in 1988. After graduating, he joined Accenture's new consulting practice and rapidly rose through the ranks to make partner in 1999. Throughout his career, Brian has specialized in designing and implementing large, complex customer relationship and billing solutions for gas, electric, and water utilities throughout the world, including Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Brazil, and Canada. Currently, he is Accenture's North American SAP delivery lead for the utilities industry. In addition to serving clients globally, Brian is active in junior achievement and local charities, and spends his free time with his wife Evelyn and 3 children, Rachel, Jacob, and Miriam. Jacob is a sophomore, by the way, at Florida State, and is planning to earn his finance degree in 2016. Please join me at this time in welcoming Mr. Brian Cohen.
Dean Beck Dudley, thank you for inviting me here today. You, the Dean of Florida State's prestigious College of Business, other deans, faculty, staff, are all to be commended for your relentless pursuit of academic excellence, for your inspirational leadership, and for nurturing the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you. To the parents, grandparents, family and friends, and other distinguished guests, I bid you welcome. You have played an integral part as caregivers and role models to build a solid foundation for your sons and daughters. They would not be here today without your sacrifices and your encouragement. Thank you. Graduates, today we celebrate your success and reflect on what can be. But before we do that, let me answer the question, why am I here? I believe I have 2 major objectives. One is to share my real-world experiences, insight, and knowledge, and also translate that from my experience here at Florida State and how my MBA helped prepare me for my career. And also extrapolating from this, what does that mean for you? 2, and this is very important, I'm here to assure your parents that you will not be moving back home permanently. I am humbled and honored to be here today, Looking back on 1988, I was in your position, MBA in hand and ready to embark on my career. I'd accepted a position with Arthur Anderson and Company, not in the audit and tax division, but in our new fully formed consulting division. A year after joining, we formed a separate company, Anderson Consulting, the precursor to Accenture, the current company. To me, other than a couple of name changes, I've had the pleasure of working for one company for the 25 years, a rare feat in today's transitional career environment. Back then, we had less than 30,000 employees, and our revenues were less than just over, I should say, $1 billion a year. The United States was just a few years removed from a global recession, not unlike today. Following that event, we survived a minor recession in the early 90s, the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s, and most recently, the Great Recession. But throughout all of these events, we continue to grow and prosper and strengthen our competitive position. Today, Accenture is one of the world's largest management and technology consulting companies in the world, with 275,000 employees and revenues of almost $30 billion a year. We count among our clients over 90% of the Fortune 100 global clients and over 75% of the Fortune 500 global clients. I've gone from entry-level analyst to partner and hold a leadership position in my firm. It has been a fun ride and a wild ride, to say the least. For those of you who may not know Accenture, we do not sell hardware or software. That's hard to believe for a leader in technology consulting, but what we do is sell smart, motivated people that solve complex business problems. We typically hire from the top 10% of all college graduates, and we continue to invest in them over their careers. Over the past few years in a down economy, we have spent, on average, $1 billion a year training and building skills in our people. In essence, we're a people company, and part of my job, a major part of my job, is growing and developing talent. Reflecting on where you are today, fresh out of graduate school, I tried to reflect back to myself and see what pearls of wisdom I could offer to you. I kept the list small, and I focused only on the most relevant points. But when I distilled it down at a macro level, it came down to 2 words: aim high. One of my favorite quotes is from the sculptor Michelangelo. He stated, "The greater danger for all of us is not in setting our aim too high and failing to achieve it, but rather in setting it too low and achieving our mark." I know it seems odd to be talking or to quoting someone who lived hundreds of years ago at an MBA commencement. But the reality is Michelangelo was not an ordinary individual. He was a renowned sculptor, poet, architect, engineer, and painter. His works have been viewed by millions, and many have tried to emulate him on their careers. To be known worldwide in one discipline is a fantastic accomplishment, but to be recognized as a leader in many is truly exceptional. Michelangelo is a role model we should all be able to follow. In case it's not obvious, aim high means that you need to be bold and take charge of your career and not sit back and wait for someone to hand you success. Doing so is like the lottery. Someone's going to win, but it's probably not going to be you. So let me help you, or so for me to help you, let me talk about things I think that are actionable and that you can use in all aspects of your life. There's 7 key things. Have a vision, and I'll talk about each one. Have a vision. Have a plan to achieve that vision. Have at least one mentor. Look to add value in all that you do. Be a great communicator. Develop an owner's mentality. And finally, give back. So let's talk briefly about these. Have a vision. The reality is that each of us must own our own career, right? No one else can do this for you. If you're going to be successful, you need to know where you're going. Speeding through life and wondering, am I there yet, will not do it. When I joined Accenture, my overarching goal was to make partner, the highest level one could achieve in my company at the time. I used this to motivate me and shape my thinking. I wanted to excel at everything, but I also used this as a guidepost to help me understand the bigger picture and how my then current actions or tasks would help me be successful. Number 2, create a plan. Once you define your vision, you need to have a measurable, actionable goal or set of goals, to help you get there. I liken this to the typical New Year's resolutions that many people make every year. They say they want to lose weight, join the gym, spend more time with family, but they don't put a plan in place, and ultimately it falls by the wayside. And then another year comes along, and they reiterate those, and they fall again until eventually they stop making New Year's resolutions. I was fortunate that Accenture, being focused on people and career growth, put a ton of effort into documenting skills that had to be developed to move from one position to another. But I still had to figure out that for me personally would work and measure myself against these objectives and my plan on an ongoing basis. Early in my career, I typically did this 3 or 4 times a year. And now, even 25 years later, I still do this once or twice a year. Number 3, find at least one mentor. In school, we studied about famous explorers, people that went into uncharted territory, people like Leif Erikson, Christopher Columbus, and Lewis and Clark. And unless you want to go it alone, you really need to look for someone who can be a mentor to you, someone who can help you look at your career and look at your objectives and where you are, and help you navigate, through all the different aspects of your career as you move forward. These people can share their wisdom and experience, and they are valuable in every aspect of what you're trying to accomplish. Next, be a great communicator. If there's one thing that every one of us can actually do to improve ourselves, is to become a better communicator. And in fact, I'll say to become a great communicator is what we should all aspire to do. I'm not aware of any business relationship that does not have at least 2 entities or 2 people involved. And unless you're like Tom Hanks and live on a deserted island, you have to talk to someone. At a minimum, good communications needs to be clear and concise. Before formal interactions, I would also add that you should think through other people's objectives and their mindset. Think about their position. And use this to try to anticipate problems and questions and concerns. If you do this, you'll create better presentations. You'll actually be viewed more professional, and you'll be more successful in the long run. But being a great communicator also entails being an active listener. Communication is a 2-way street, right? It's not one way from me to you. It should be both of us interacting together. And I have seen on multiple occasions, sad to say, people in my own company who get that 30-minute interview or that 30-minute slot with a CEO of a company, and they spend 90% of the time talking and only 10% of the time listening, and then wonder why they don't get another opportunity to come back. Be an active listener. It's one of the most single things that you can do to actually impact your career positive. Seek to add value in all that you do. In microeconomics, you studied utils, and maybe not everyone in the audience recognizes that, but that's a measure of value and satisfaction, right? And what our objective should be is trying to add more value and more satisfaction in the things that we do on a daily basis. And we should do that for ourselves. We should do that for our teams and the people we work with. We should do that for our customers and our clients. Because if you really do this and focus on adding value, you will actually find that you will rise to the top. I'll give you a couple examples of this. In 1998, in 1998, I was tasked with going to Australia and leading an implementation of a new system that had never been done anywhere in the world. And at that time in the global economy, The US dollar, $1 was the equivalent of $2 Australian. So for myself and the people that I took with me to Australia, we cost twice as much as people from Australia on the same project. So I had to tell them and remind myself every day that we had to prove ourselves every day. We cannot be complacent. We had to demonstrate that we were there and we were creating real value for ourselves and for our clients. But the same is true even if there's not an interest rate differential. When you really think about it, if you want to be recognized or get that next promotion, you need to look for ways to create more value. And this can come in many ways. It can be looking at automating a currently manual process or opening up a new market, building skills and capabilities in yourself and in your team. All of these things can help you build value. Regardless, maintaining the status quo, while acceptable in some cases, that should not be your objective. Developing an owner's mentality. To me, this is simple. Even if you do not own the company, act like you do. It changes how you perceive your role and what you do in that company, and it also will change how people perceive you. The thing here is, if you're doing this, the likelihood is that you'll pay more attention, focus more on streamlining operations, taking costs out of the business, improving productivity, improving customer satisfaction, just a number of things that are all positive when you think about them in both in your life as well as in your corporate life. So at Accenture, since we're a publicly traded company and I'm one of our executives, I'm required to hold a minimum of my salary in corporate stock. And my annual bonus is tied to our performance and to my performance. So I can promise you I'm very incented year over year to make sure that I do things day over day over day that are adding value to our company. I'll give you another example from an owner's point of view. I admire and respect my father tremendously. He's a great man. He started his own business and employees loved him and they enjoyed working with him. My father would speak with everyone and no task was too small. If the floor needed sweeping, he would pick up the broom. If something needed to be copied, he would be there doing it. He's an amazing man. But that's the owner's mentality. He did whatever it took, day over day, no matter how small, to build his business from nothing into a successful enterprise. And then finally, give back. Investing and helping others is one of the most rewarding things you can do, and I strongly encourage you to give your time, talent, and treasure to benefit others. As Dean Paradise mentioned earlier, I serve on the board of Junior Achievement in Tampa Bay, but I also am active on both the finance committee and the executive committees. And I try to spend at least one session throughout the year teaching in the local high school, at a local high school, doing what we call our Skills to Succeed program. But that's just at a minimum. I would like to try to do more. I also teach internally within Accenture, and usually these commitments are 7 days, including a weekend. I have a number of formal and informal mentoring relationships with others within Accenture, both up and down. And I'm always energized by helping others, and I think it's imperative that each one of us gives back. Graduates, you've reached a milestone in your career, and the world awaits. My advice to you is have a vision, create a plan, find a mentor, be a great communicator, add value in everything that you do, and give back. But most importantly, aim high. Thank you, and go Knowles.
Thank you, Brian. I am now honored to introduce my colleague and good friend, Dr. Michael Hartline. Dr. Hartline holds a PhD in Business Administration from the University of Memphis and serves as the college's Associate Dean of Strategic Initiatives and the Charles A. Bruning Professor of Business Administration. He also teaches an annual Corporate Affairs Management course for master students that focuses on the strategic use of corporate affairs to market the organization, its issues, and its ideals to potential stakeholders, including consumers, the general public, shareholders, media, and governments. Students have the opportunity to hear from guest speakers at the highest executive levels about what it takes to daily manage a corporation's reputation. Mike's research interests include services marketing, service productivity, corporate and government affairs, human resource marketing linkages, marketing strategy, and implementation and marketing ethics. Please welcome Dr. Mike Hartline.
Thank you, David. You guys look nervous. Are you okay? Do you need to stand up, take a breath for a minute? No? We're good? Okay. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the College of Business, congratulations on completing your graduate degree. With all the projects, exams, and late nights, I'm sure you probably thought this day would never arrive, and I'm sure your families thought the same thing, didn't you? Well, it's finally over, at least for now. Here you are, full of excitement and anticipation, well-trained and newly minted graduates, full of promise, new ideas, and specialized skills. Please know we're extremely proud of you and your accomplishments. But being a faculty member, before we let you go, we want to take a minute to top off your formal education with a few nuggets of wisdom that I have gleaned from various business executives in the class that David mentioned. Then I want to talk to you about what I think is the #1 key to a productive career and a successful retirement. Yes, I said it, retirement. Trust me, you're going to get there sooner than you think. But first, a top 10 list of executive wisdom. And Brian, your list fits right in with mine, so we're just going to beat it into them today. Number 10, have a bold vision. And I like David Letterman, so I should back up. This is a top 10 list, although not quite as hysterical as his might be. So number 10, have a bold vision. Be curious, courageous, and have a plan for where you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, and in 50 years. The reason? Because your vision is what you become in life. Number 9, be passionate about your work. Be hardworking, but also remain humble. Always remember where you came from, and remember who you are. Who are you? You're always a Seminole. Never sacrifice your morals or principles for your career. Number 8, be willing to take risk and step outside of your comfort zone. Acorns that don't fall from the tree always grow in the shadow of others. To fully mature, you must step out, spread your wings, and take chances. Number 7, become irreplaceable. Be more valuable to your boss and your company. Learn how your boss is evaluated and how your company makes money. Then help both succeed. Number 6, don't be high maintenance. This one's really important. Don't be high maintenance to your boss, to your company, to your family, to your friends or your colleagues. Why? Because no one likes a prima donna. Number 5, learn how to communicate a consistent message, whether it is in 140 pages or 140 characters. Hone your elevator speech, because sometimes you have only 10 seconds to make a good first impression. Number 4, there are 2 types of people in this world, energy givers and energy takers. Always be an energy giver. Number 3, have the right people on the bus. Every project or company needs a variety of skills to be successful. If you cannot get the right people on the bus, switch to a different bus. Number 2, never stop learning. If you stop learning, you stop growing. I know you guys think this is the end, but trust me, it's not. You will continue to learn your entire life. And number 1, stay connected. Stay connected with friends, with colleagues, and with family. Stay connected with FSU and utilize the Seminole Alumni Network to your advantage. Most importantly, make these connections meaningful rather than superficial. I put this last point, stay connected, at number 1 because I see it as the single most important factor to having a long and successful career. It is vital that you take every opportunity to grow your network because your connections with others will open doors and provide new opportunities when you need them the most. In particular, tap into your Seminole family of alumni. It is very real and is very helpful to you. This brings me to the issue of retirement. I know you haven't given it any thought to this point, so let me tell you a story. I knew a professor once who achieved everything he ever wanted in his career. He was widely published, widely cited, and known around the world as an expert in his field. He helped hundreds of students go on to very successful careers. Everyone knew his name. How did he achieve this? He did everything on the top 10 list. Well, everything except number 1. You see, throughout his career, he was too busy to stay connected to family, to friends, colleagues, or former students. When he retired, he had no family or friends to share in the rewards of his success. He retired a lonely and bitter man because he failed to stay connected to the people that mattered the most. So the moral of the story is very clear. Throughout your career, never forget the importance of staying connected to others. In fact, if you can only do one thing on the top 10 list, make it number 1 and stay connected. How do you do this? Well, before you default to 21st century connections via social media or other technologies, let me suggest that you go old school. First, ask your colleagues, especially your boss, about their weekend or about their day. People like to know that you care. Another way, instead of saying you don't have time, go to lunch with a friend or a colleague. Those friendships are valuable to you both personally and professionally. Take time to go see your parents, your siblings, or other family members. Your career will be waiting on you when you get back. Join the FSU Alumni Association and a local Seminole club and participate in their many activities, such as game watching parties. The connections you make will be important to your career success. Finally, come back and visit with the College of Business. Consider speaking to a class about your experiences. You have much to share with others. In closing, I encourage you to go forward and achieve greatness by striving for being on the top 10 list. Along the way, be sure to stay connected with others. Your career and your future retirement will be all the better if you invite a friend for a beer or a cup of coffee once in a while. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. Now I have the privilege of introducing our student speaker, Patricia Feliciano. Patricia is receiving her Master of Science in Marketing with a concentration in sales this fall. This semester, Patricia has been completing a sales internship with the Sales Institute, honing her skills in recommending marketing plan solutions for Neal Technologies, Be Creative House, and Neal TSP. During her undergraduate time completing a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, Patricia was a member of the Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society and was on both the President's and the Dean's lists. She also served as a marketing intern for UD's Healthy Foods, creating a university-affiliated organization devoted to healthy eating and food allergy awareness. Upon graduation, she has accepted an internship in the wholesale sales department at BCBG Max Azria in New York City. Patricia exemplifies the perseverance and dedication to excellence that we encourage in all of our graduate students. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Patricia Feliciano to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Paradise, for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, family and friends, FSU faculty, FSU alumni, and of course, my fellow Seminoles from the College of Business Master's Programs. I am truly honored and humbled to stand before you today. I know that I speak for all of us here when I express my deepest appreciation for the amazing learning experience we have all endured throughout our graduate degrees. In 2005, my mom and I moved from Puerto Rico to the United States in search for better opportunities and a better quality of life. I can honestly say that the Florida State University's College of Business has been one of the best opportunities that I have been presented with, in my 22 years of life. Upon graduating from high school, I came to FSU with the hopes and dreams of attending dental school. However, like it happens to many of us, I changed my mind as I learned more about myself. So now you're probably thinking, okay, she decided to get a degree in business instead. It's a much better investment. True, but I didn't realize that just yet. I switched my major to nutrition, which is what I got my bachelor's degree in. So how did I end up here? The summer before my junior year, I walked into the College of Business for the very first time. I met with Dr. Hartline, who was then the chairman of the marketing department and is now an associate dean for strategic initiatives, sitting right over here, to learn more about the opportunities the College of Business offered for higher education. I knew that I wanted to pursue a graduate degree, I just didn't know in what. But the moment that I walked out of his office, that very first time, I knew that a graduate degree in business was exactly the career path I had been searching for. Once again, I had changed my mind. But this time, I was home. A master's degree from the College of Business provided all of us actually, with so many opportunities to reach outside our comfort zones, to challenge ourselves in the classroom and in our daily lives. Our graduate degrees provided a platform for us to expand our knowledge, to collaborate with others, and to become better individuals as it relates to not only our careers, but our daily lives as well. Despite all the times we felt stressed and overwhelmed this whole week, and the countless nights we stayed up studying for exams and writing papers 2 days ago, there's not a single week or day, not a single minute or second we trade for the opportunities this has afforded us. If it weren't for the challenging assignments or the motivating faculty, we wouldn't be here today, right now. The award-winning author Paulo Coelho wrote in The Alchemist, "People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel they don't deserve them or that they'll be unable to achieve them. But we, the fall class of 2013, have the courage to pursue our dreams and, most importantly, make real the dreams of others." I once read that success happens when preparation meets opportunity. It is now time for us to show the world the unconquered Seminole within us that the College of Business and our degrees has prepared us to be, the Seminole we are meant to be. We have reached the light at the end of this tunnel and are now ready to conquer all opportunities that lie ahead of us. This would not have been possible without the support of our mothers and fathers, spouses and family members, and our friends that rooted for us while we pursued our dreams. I'd also like to acknowledge all the faculty members who guided us and instilled in us a passion for learning. Without you, this journey would not have been possible. On a personal note, I want to thank my mom for her everlasting support, Dr. Hartline for his guidance and inspiration, and to Jim McLaughlin, Mr. Mack, who helped me realize my full potential. On that note, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2013. We did it.
Thank you, Patricia. One thing that separates this master's degree celebration from the ceremony for the bachelor degree is the donning of regalia hoods. And we will now proceed with our hooding ceremony. When each student comes up for the adornment of his or her hood, I will read the graduate's name and hometown. We will be hooding our graduates by degree program. Will Dr. Rhoda Iserman please come forward to hood our Master of Accounting graduates? Nicholas Griffin from Tallahassee. Wei Jiahu from China. Alyssa Roti from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Sarah Thompson from Perry, Florida. Xiejun Tong from Kuzhou, China. Si Jiazhou from Nanjing, China. Will Dr. David Orozco please come forward to hood our Master of Business Administration graduates? Bianca Anselmetti from Miami, Florida. Damian Barton from Atlanta, Georgia. Shannon Daly Scully from Tampa, Florida. Sonia Green Sanders from Chicago, Illinois. Tatiana T.K. Kraska-Horvath from Biel, Switzerland. Chadden Lavrini from Sterling. Mark Lindberg from Chicago, Illinois. Charles Metter from Bradenton, Florida. Sergio Mielnik from Tallahassee, Florida. Tracy Parker from San Marco, Texas. Ryan Powell from McClenny, Florida. Eric Rios from Boca Raton, Florida. Enio Ruse Garcia from Kissimmee, Florida. Jennifer Sobel from Gainesville, Florida. Shelley Scott from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Lindsay Sneed from Merritt Island, Florida. Trista Welch from Cherokee, North Carolina. Will Dr. Ashley Bush please come forward to hood our Master of Science in Management Information Systems graduates? Frederick Ford from Dayton. Anthony Lay from Oviedo, Florida. Jason Padua from Orlando, Florida. Will Dr. Michael Hartline please come forward to hood our Master of Science in Marketing graduates? Kevin Beck from Fernandina Beach. Marielle Crawford from Lakeland, Florida. Patricia Feliciano from Jacksonville, Florida. Alexandra Jaskulska from Warsaw. Chelsea Carroll from Atlantic Beach, Florida. Will Dr. Kathleen McCullough please come forward to hood our Master of Science in Risk Management and Insurance graduates? Amber Lee Zaki from Tallahassee, Florida. Members of the audience, I proudly introduce to you our newest members of the Seminole family, the Master's graduating class of the College of Business at Florida State University, Fall 2013. In closing, I would like to recognize the family and friends of our graduates. I know from experience that you have gone through this program with our graduates, making sacrifices of time, attention, and certainly money in some cases. I'd like all of the family and friends of our master's graduates to please stand. Graduates, this is your opportunity to thank them for their support. Thank you. You may be seated. The faculty and staff of the College of Business care deeply about our programs and students and devote much of their lives to making a difference, often one person at a time. I'd like to have all of the faculty and staff here this evening to please stand. Our graduates would not be here without you, and so we thank you very much. Thank you. Again, I would like to thank everyone for joining us here this afternoon. We will close with the recessional of our fall master's graduates for fall 2013. Immediately following the ceremony, please follow the signs outside that will direct you to a reception in the Westminster House across the street so that you may continue socializing and celebrating with faculty, family, and friends. We now conclude with the recessional of our faculty and graduates.